Welcome, the anointed ones. Not everyone deserves access to you, and some don't even deserve a farewell. When you're the kind of person who walks away from drama without a single glance back, people tend to, well, fall apart. In a world where most cling to toxic connections like lifelines, your ability to cut through the noise and walk away leaves an impact. Studies even show that those who set firm boundaries that actually stay enforced, tend to be happier, less stressed, and, let's be honest, a lot less exhausted from all the nonsense. Now, why does your cutoff game hit so hard that it sends people falling backward? It's simple. They're not used to someone who values their peace over others' validation. You left them dazed, stunned, and probably a little panicked. And here's the kicker. They never saw it coming. So get ready, because we're about to dive into why walking away isn't just powerful, it's practically an art form. Number 1. The absence is a loud echo. When you leave, something powerful happens. People realize it wasn't just your presence they enjoyed. It was the stability, calm, and unspoken strength you brought into their lives. You weren't just there for the small talk or the occasional laugh. You were the silent, steady anchor that held everything together. You were the friend who could listen without judgment, the person who made them feel safe just by being around, and the one who gave them a sense of control when life felt messy. But here's the catch. They never fully understood what you added to their lives until you were gone. Suddenly, they're left with a void, a hollow space that echoes everything they took for granted. This isn't something that gets filled by another friend or relationship. It's the unique absence of you, the way you listened, the way you didn't need to be the center of attention, the way you made their problems seem smaller just by being there. They can try to replace you, sure, but each time they do, they're reminded of just how irreplaceable you are. They can feel it. The atmosphere is different, the comfort is gone, and they're left with a sinking realization that they didn't just lose a friend. They lost a source of quiet strength and stability they thought they'd always have access to. Your absence forces them to sit with themselves, and that's something they were never ready to do. All those pieces you helped hold together are now slipping, and there's no one left to steady them. They're left scrambling, wishing they could go back in time, but the door is closed and you're nowhere in sight. They're not just missing you, they're missing the person they could only be when you were there. Number 2, drama is their default, but you change the rules. People who thrive on drama crave the predictable chaos it brings. It's like a familiar drug, highly addictive, messy, but something they know how to handle. They get a twisted satisfaction from creating conflict, dragging others into it, and watching reactions unfold. It gives them a sense of control, a way to feel powerful by keeping everyone on edge. And for a while, you played along, either out of patience, compassion, or the hope that maybe they'd change. But then you did something that flipped their world upside down. You walked away. When you left, you didn't just exit the scene, you shattered the script they'd written for you. Suddenly, they're left standing in the middle of their drama with no one to watch, no one to react, no one to manipulate. The energy they used to feed off, the arguments, the tension, the constant back and forth is gone. And here's the kicker. They don't know what to do without it. Drama is their default, their comfort zone, and you've just taken it away from them in one clean, swift move. They're now forced to face the truth they've been dodging. Without you, their games are meaningless. They might act like they don't care, maybe even try to replace you with someone else, but deep down they feel the void you left behind. You were the person who balanced their chaos with calm, who gave their drama a purpose simply by reacting to it. Now, they're left spinning in circles, realizing that the drama they thought was fun or empowering was really just a cover for their own emptiness. You took away their favorite toy, the control they had over you, and left them to face a reality they no longer know how to manage. Number 3, they fall backwards because you refuse to feed their ego. Your cutoff isn't just a boundary. It's a statement that you won't be used to fuel anyone's ego or emotional games. Some people expect others to cater to their insecurities, validate their every whim, or stay tangled up in their problems to keep them feeling important. They expect loyalty that's unearned, patience that's limitless, and attention that's endless, all while doing little to earn it. When you were there, they grew accustomed to having someone who would be there for their constant need for validation. They counted on you to always pick up the pieces, to listen to their complaints, and to feed their ego without hesitation. But when you walked away, you took all that validation with you. You removed yourself from the equation, and suddenly, they're left with no one to fill their emotional void. It's not that they miss you as a person. They miss what you gave them. The constant reassurance, the attention, the sense of importance that came from knowing someone was there just for them. And now, they're feeling that loss deeply because you were a source of comfort they thought they'd always have access to. You leaving exposed a hard truth they'd rather ignore. Without people like you to prop them up, they don't feel nearly as important. They have to face the uncomfortable fact that maybe they're not as central as they believed. That realization hits hard because it disrupts the narrative they've created around themselves. That they're worth people bending over backward, that they're the center of everyone's universe. With you gone, there's no one to play into that fantasy anymore. Now they're left craving the very thing they took for granted, realizing too late that they were never entitled to it in the first place. Number 4, you were their last connection to stability. Some people live in a constant state of chaos, with instability woven into every corner of their lives. They're drawn to drama, often sabotage their own happiness, and can't seem to break free from the cycles of upheaval they create. But you were different, a steady, calming force amid their self-made storms. You brought a sense of grounding that they couldn't find anywhere else, a rare source of stability in a world they had filled with volatility. It wasn't that you solved all their problems, but your presence alone offered them a sense of balance. With you, they found a calm they didn't even know they were missing. But while they recognized your stability, they never truly honored it. Instead of appreciating the peace you brought, they took it for granted, assuming you'd always be there to catch them whenever they slipped. You became their safety net, their go-to whenever things got messy. And for a while you might have willingly played that role. But eventually, you realized that their chaos wasn't something you could fix or control, and it was draining you. So, you made the difficult choice to walk away. Now, they're left with nothing but their own instability, and they're feeling the full impact of what it means to be without you. They'll search for replacements, hoping to find someone who can give them the same grounding you did. But what they'll find is that people like you don't come around often. Others won't tolerate their chaos or offer the stability you did. And as they scramble to fill the void you left behind, they're forced to confront the fact that you were the one thing in their life that made sense. Without you, they're adrift, alone with the chaos they once thought they could control. Number 5, you're a mirror of accountability they never wanted. Some people surround themselves with enablers, people who nod along, agree, and let things slide. It's comfortable, safe, and doesn't challenge them to be any better than they are. But you were never that person. You were the one who saw through the excuses, the justifications, and the endless stories they spun to avoid facing hard truths. You didn't let them get away with brushing things under the rug or pretending everything was someone else's fault. You held up a mirror, one that reflected exactly who they were, flaws and all. And that kind of honesty, though uncomfortable, kept them grounded in a way no one else did. When you left, you took that mirror with you, and they lost the one person who refused to play along with their self-deceptions. Now, they're left alone, and for perhaps the first time, they're forced to look at themselves without the comfort of your grounding honesty. There's no one to filter reality, no one to challenge them, and no one to hold them accountable. They're faced with the raw truth of who they are, without your steady presence to soften it. And here's the thing, they hate it. They hate seeing the weaknesses, the failures, and the flaws they once easily ignored. They might try to find someone else to replace you, someone who can give them that sense of accountability again, but it won't be the same. No one else will challenge them like you did, because most people won't risk that level of honesty. In your absence, they're left to wrestle with the person they've become, and it's a reflection they can no longer escape. Number 6. You hold the power of true detachment. True detachment isn't about bitterness, resentment, or some heated argument. It's a calm, quiet decision made without emotion clouding your vision. When you cut people off, it's not out of anger. It's with a clarity and self-respect that feels almost unnerving to those who live for drama and reactions. Most people are used to others storming off in frustration, throwing words around or slamming doors as they exit. That's an exit they understand, one they know how to manipulate or dismiss. But your way of detaching, it's cold, clean, and leaves no room for negotiation. It's a cut that doesn't bleed, but it stings in ways they never anticipated. When you walk away like this, they're left shocked, grappling with an empty space they thought would be filled by your emotional reaction. They expected anger, something to latch onto, some heated energy they could use to draw you back into their world. But instead, they get nothing, just silence, and a sense of finality that's more unsettling than any argument ever could be. They realize you're not leaving because you're hurt or spiteful. You're leaving because you simply value your peace more than their games. This type of detachment leaves them reeling because it shows that you don't need them. You're not holding on to any lingering anger or attachment. They're simply no longer part of your reality. And for people who thrive on controlling others' emotions, your detachment is terrifying. It shows them a level of strength they can't understand and a self-worth they can't touch. They're left with a profound discomfort because for the first time, they're the ones who care, and you simply don't. Number 7. You withheld your energy, and that's a major loss. Energy vampires thrive on the emotional fuel they draw from others, whether it's attention, validation, or simply the presence of someone who cares deeply. They latch onto those who give freely, who pour energy into their lives without asking for much in return. For a while, you were that source for them, offering comfort, support, and a sense of importance. But when you walked away, you took more than just your presence. You took the very energy they depended on, and that's a void they don't know how to fill. Without your energy to lean on, they're left facing a stark emptiness. They may have seen you as a reliable source of emotional fuel, someone who would always be there to listen, to care, and to give them the attention they crave. But what they didn't realize is that your energy wasn't infinite, and it certainly wasn't something they were entitled to. Now, without you, they feel a kind of withdrawal, a sense of loss that goes beyond missing a friend. They miss the power and comfort your energy brought to their lives, and it's a loss they can't easily replace. This absence leaves them scrambling, desperately trying to fill the gap with other people or distractions, yet nothing seems to satisfy. They might try to find someone new to drain, but they'll soon realize that not everyone will give so freely, so openly, or with the same depth that you once did. You were their lifeline, whether they admitted it or not. And now that you're gone, they're forced to confront the emptiness they'd been trying to cover up all along. Your absence isn't just a void, it's a mirror showing them how little they were truly investing in themselves and how much they depended on others to feel whole. Number 8. You showed them. They were never as important as they thought. When you walked away, you did more than just leave. They realized, perhaps for the first time, that they weren't as central to your life as they'd assumed. For people who thrive on being the focus, this realization hits hard. They had built a narrative in which they were indispensable, believing they held a powerful sway over you that would keep you around no matter how one-sided things became. They saw themselves as irreplaceable, convinced that you needed them far more than they needed you. But when you left without hesitation, it forced them to confront a truth they never wanted to face. They were not as important as they thought. In walking away, you sent a message that your peace and well-being come first, no matter who's in the picture. This kind of self-respect is rare and powerful, and it shook them. They were banking on your loyalty, expecting that no matter how they acted, you'd stay because they believed they had a hold over you. But you didn't need to argue or prove anything. You simply left, and in that moment, You shattered their illusion of importance. Now, they're left grappling with an uncomfortable realization. They were replaceable. They weren't as vital to your life as they thought, and that's a blow to their ego they didn't see coming. In your absence, they're forced to reflect on how easily you let them go, and that thought stings deeply. They have to accept that your self-worth doesn't rely on anyone else's presence, and it's a truth they'll have a hard time swallowing. By valuing your peace above all, you taught them the ultimate lesson, that no one's importance should outweigh your own well-being. Number 9. They're realizing they lost access to your wisdom. For so long, they took your wisdom for granted, assuming that it would always be there when they needed it. You shared your insights freely, offering perspectives that cut through the noise and helped them make sense of the chaos in their lives. But now that you're gone, they're beginning to understand just how valuable those insights were. They realize that your intelligence wasn't just a source of advice. It was a guiding light, one that helped them navigate situations with clarity, understanding, and depth. And now, that light is gone. People often underestimate the power of someone who gives without expectation, assuming that they can always return to that well of wisdom when the time comes. But wisdom doesn't operate on a schedule. It's not something you can tap into whenever you feel like it. It's earned through experience, patience, and a unique perspective that can't be replicated. They're discovering that without you, they're left scrambling for answers from sources that don't come close to what you offered. They turn to others, but nothing provides the same clarity, the same depth, or the same truth that you did. This loss is more than just emotional, it's intellectual. They're realizing that the ability to understand situations deeply, to see things from multiple angles, and to offer profound insight was something they took for granted. And now, without your guidance, they're left with a void they can't fill. The answers they seek aren't as readily available, and they're forced to confront the reality that true wisdom isn't easy to find. They had access to it in you, and now that it's gone, they're realizing just how irreplaceable it really was. Number 10. You left them alone with their own chaos. Drama addicts thrive on attention, and for a long time you were the perfect audience. They'd stir up conflict, create chaos, and weave stories that kept you engaged even when you knew better. You were the one who reacted, who gave them the emotional fuel they craved, and for them, that was enough to keep the cycle going. But when you made the decision to walk away, you didn't just leave a relationship behind. You left them alone with their own mess. And for someone who thrives on drama, that's a terrifying place to be. Now, they're left to play their act, but there's no audience to watch. The chaos they create now feels pointless, because without your reaction, there's no payoff. The fights, the stories, the manipulation, none of it has the same effect when there's no one there to fuel it. They can't distract themselves with the drama anymore, and they can't keep pretending everything is someone else's fault. The performance they once put on to make themselves feel important now falls flat, and they're left staring at the reality they've created, a life built on constant chaos that no longer serves its purpose. Without you, they can't keep spinning the web they've been weaving. There's no one to draw in, no one to play their games with, and no one to reflect back the drama they've fed on. What they're left with is their own reflection, a person who creates chaos but now has to live in it. And as they sit alone with that truth, they can't escape the fact that they've been the architects of their own misery. The reality is, without your energy to fuel their drama, they're forced to confront the emptiness they've been avoiding all along. Number 11. You're no longer a pawn in their games. For people who thrive on control and manipulation, it's all about power. How to maintain it, how to keep others in their grip, and how to move pieces around to suit their needs. You were just another pawn in their game, someone they thought they could control, manipulate, and move around at will. They saw you as a tool to further their own agendas, a means to an end. But when you walked away, you flipped the script. Your exit wasn't just a break in the relationship, it was a checkmate. The power balance shifted, and now they're left scrambling, trying to figure out how to regain control over something they thought they had already mastered. They didn't see it coming. You weren't supposed to leave, not without their permission, not without their manipulation running its course. They relied on you to play the role they assigned, to be the person they could dictate and use without resistance. But by cutting them off, you threw their whole strategy into disarray. Now they're left without a key piece, and that loss is more than just frustrating. It's unsettling. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that you walked away without so much as a second thought. You broke the pattern, and suddenly they're forced to confront the fact that they have no control over you anymore. What's worse is that they can't play their usual tricks anymore. You're no longer a puppet on a string, reacting to their every move. And that's a loss they can't easily replace. They're left frustrated, trying to manipulate others to fill the role you once played, but it's never the same. You've proven that you can't be controlled, that you're not a pawn to be moved around at their whim, and that's a realization they'll struggle with for a long time. Number 12. Absence highlights their lack of depth. Without you in the picture, they're left staring at the emptiness that once filled the spaces you occupied. You brought something to the table that most people couldn't even recognize until it was gone. Depth. Whether it was your conversations, your ability to connect on a meaningful level, or the way you brought authenticity and insight into every interaction, you set a standard they can't replicate. Now, without you, they're stuck with surface-level connections that feel like nothing more than shallow exchanges, empty and uninspiring. They thought they could find your kind of depth again, but now that you're gone, they see how rare it truly was. Without you, their conversations feel like hollow attempts at connection. They engage with others, but it never goes beyond the basics. The weather, the small talk, the same tired scripts they've used to pass the time. But it's not real. The richness you brought to those moments is gone, and with it, a piece of their world. They never realized how much they relied on your perspective, your presence, and your ability to engage in a way that left them thinking long after you walked away. Now, they have to face the painful truth. They'll never find anyone like you again. People may come and go, but no one will ever bring the same level of depth, understanding, and connection that you offered. The absence of that depth is a reminder of how shallow their relationships have become. And it stings. They'll never be able to replicate what you gave so effortlessly, and that realization is one they'll carry with them, painfully aware that they lost something irreplaceable. Walking away from someone who thrives on chaos, manipulation, or shallow connections isn't just an act of cutting ties. It's a statement. It's a declaration of self-respect, self-awareness, and the understanding that your peace, your energy, and your presence are not to be taken for granted. You didn't just walk away, you made them face a harsh truth about themselves, that they can't control you, that you won't settle for less than what you deserve, and that the richness you brought into their lives wasn't something they could replace. For them, the absence you've left isn't just about losing you. It's about everything you represented. It's the power you held in their lives, the wisdom they'll never find again, the depth they'll never encounter, and the stability they took for granted. And now, as they try to fill the void you left, they realize that they've lost something irreplaceable. You didn't just walk away from them. You walked away from a dynamic that no longer served you. You chose your own peace, and in doing so, you forced them to confront the very reality they tried to avoid. They may never admit it, but they know the truth now. Your absence is far more impactful than your presence ever was. And as they grapple with that, you continue to move forward, stronger and more aligned with your own truth. If you found value in this video and it resonated with you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on content like this. Also, turn on your notifications so you're always in the loop when we drop new insights. If you have thoughts, experiences, or reflections to share, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Like the video if it struck a chord, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching. God bless you.